Hey gamers, welcome to part 2 of our episode. If you missed the first part of this episode, stop what you're doing and go back and check out part 1 on YouTube, Spotify, or wherever you tune in to RPGaymer podcast. Without further ado, let's get started with part 2. Well, let's get back on the trend of Wild Arms.
Let's talk about Wild Arms.
Yeah, let's go into more. Well, I don't mind the tangents at all. I think it's all encompassing because this was a series that, like we said, is not here anymore, and it had a big impact on us. And I think one of the other ways that games can have big impact on people are the characters that appear in the games. And I feel like this might be where we differ a little bit as we talk about like what we liked in certain series, parts of the series in certain games. But let's talk about the characters now. Who were some of your standouts in the series of like, this is character greatness? Whether that's like you just liked their design or possibly like they're fully fleshed and they're great. Corb, why don't we start with you?
Oh, go.
So if we're just starting with the first game, I actually
start wherever you want.
All three of the
wherever
characters.
You want. You don't have to start the first game.
Wherever.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Yeah. So like, I do like the designs in Wild Arms quite a bit. Like, I don't know. I feel like there's a lot of RPGs where I love them, but some of the designs I'm not crazy about. Whereas I feel like consistently, Wild Arms has a lot of really great designs that I can get behind. Rudy, Jack, and Cecilia from the first game. I mean, Rudy's a silent protagonist, so we always kind of, gonna lack some development in that sense,
sure.
Or at least like connection to the character. But design-wise, definitely liked him a lot. I liked Jack and Cecilia's kind of just story. I thought they had like a good arc in the first Wild Arms. Cecilia kind of had her coming-of-age tale. Jack kind of found his purpose.
Like redemption,
or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, redemption, purpose, and stuff like that. So, yeah, I thought Wild Arms did the first characters well. Boomerang, as far as a villain,
so
was
cool.
Like, definitely a favorite of mine.
Yeah.
He obviously doesn't have, like, this crazy, intense, emotional backstory, but he's just, like, a pure badass, and, like, just everything about him, from his design, his, like, motive.
He had his own track, which
really cool.
That's immediately something cool about a boss. This boss has his own track, like, win, check, and it's a really good track, too.
Yeah, it's like a very wild western-y type feel, to
the whistling,
it.
Yeah.
Kind of really kind of captures that lone vagabond drifter type of like vibe, I feel. So Wild Arms had awesome characters. I'm a big fan of the characters in Wild Arms 2 as well. Ashley is actually one of my favorite protagonists in any JRPG ever.
Are you a Power Ranger fan? Did you grow up like a Power Ranger? Okay.
I did dress up as a Power Ranger one year for Halloween, so yeah, definitely was a Power Ranger fan. I thought he was a pretty competent hero. It seems like a lot of protagonists back then kind of either be a little too innocent or naive or something, but he felt like a very just like he knew what he needed to do, and he had like a girlfriend, like a grown up. Yeah, it's a good way to put it.
Yeah, he wasn't a plucky hero. He was just a hero. We don't tend to get that.
He was some common sense.
Yeah. You don't get that very often in a lot RPGs because he is just an established guy. That whole arc of just like being an anti-terrorist organization for how like crazy it is was still cool. Like it was definitely a different vibe of I'm gonna go off on these missions and like do these little episodes of like how we're impacting saving the world as opposed to grand scheme the world is dying. I thought that was always really cool about that game.
Yeah, the mission-based kind of system or concept. Yeah, that was a pretty unique thing. Kind of gave it a different like feel, at least in the first half of the game.
Yeah. David, how about you? Who are some of your stand-up characters from the series?
Right, I'm gonna go out on a different little tangent here because that's what I do.
Yeah,
it had some freaking hot ass characters, especially on the PS2. Greg,
of course.
Oh my god, talk about like a JRPG crush. Greg is like the hottest character I've ever seen in my entire life. He is ridiculous. Arnaud from Wild Arms 4, he's super sexy with his little leather pants and everything. Oh my god, super sexy characters. Gallows with his abs all showing off and everything. I was all about it. So
David's into thought characters.
Gallows, I always thought Gallows was cool because he's like this big buff like character, but he uses like kind of magic. It's more of his thing.
Yeah.
Kind of like throws off your initial impression of the character that he might play as. You know,
I remember when I
Yeah,
first started playing the game, and I was assigning guardians to the various characters. I gave him like the strength guardian, and I gave Clive the intelligence guardian, because Clive seemed like the brainiac, but Clive is like the most powerful character, and Gallows is your caster.
Yeah.
So I was kind of really confused and not playing it correctly, and then it like realized, it kind of hit me that, oh, Gallows is actually a really, you know, competent caster. He is your caster. I also thought that with Wild Arms 3, Virginia,
absolutely,
female main character. I mean, I know it's scenario, but she's totally the main character. Having a female main character was a really good take, because there's weren't a lot of them back then. Nowadays we get JRPGs that literally have only women in them, and that seems to be the newest trend, having no men whatsoever, but having a female main character. Back then, or one,
and she wasn't over sexualized either,
no,
right?
Not at all.
Which I thought was really great.
Oh, yeah.
She was not a trope.
Mm-hmm.
She was a powerful, strong, independent woman who don't need no man. You know, I really liked her. She was really good.
Same.
And then there was also some more really like overpowered characters in the series. The first one that comes to mind is Levin from Wild Arms XF.
Oh, so I have not played that's the only one in the series I've not played is the tactics game. I didn't have a PSP.
Really?
How many people actually had a PSP? Come on. We were poor.
I had a Vita.
I played it before. I never beat that one. But yeah.
Oh my god, I have some more stuff to talk about Wild Arms XF. Actually, I'll have to bring it up later. But, Levin was super overpowered. He would run around and use this blast spell, which is non-elemental. So first of all, he had the highest movement stat in the game. Then he was the black mage. So not only could he move really fast, but his spells could like, you know, have a range as well, whereas everybody else was like physical characters. So he would just fly off into the field and non-elementally just blast these guys, and they couldn't resist. It was non-elemental, and he was so super overpowered. And then Raquel.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah.
Because her
really
intrude, it was ridiculous. Like, I remember whenever I Let's Played the game, it was one of the first games I ever Let's Played on my channel back whenever I did Let's Plays. And I told myself, like, I'm not even gonna use her. Like, I would use her, like, just normally. Like, I banned intrude.
She truly just breaks the game.
Powerful. She broke the game in half. It was insanity.
Now that I'm thinking about it, maybe Wild Arms does do a really good job with their female characters. I think, what's her name in Wild Arms 2 is a little silly and kooky, but I appreciated, like, having
Lilica.
Lilica was a female comic relief, which is something that you didn't see too often. It was usually a male, but, like, strong women is definitely something that you see. Raquel is one of my favorites. Virginia, they're just really strong, developed characters. Like, learning that Raquel...
And cool.
Yeah, and cool. And, like, learning that Raquel's fighting an illness, and she's still, like, going on throughout the game, and just, like, knowing what happens towards the end of the game. It just, like, really comes in... Yeah, it comes full circle. But, like, it's such strong women. Virginia is probably one of my favorite characters in all of gaming, period. Which is, like... a lot of games listed in there, so much so that like I will design a D&D character based on her, because I feel like she is just one of the most fully fleshed characters that I can think of in gaming that is still like enjoyable. Like I enjoy her story so much and her drive. Like I get that character. And I think one of the things that we're like talking about here with like our characters too that I kind of noticed was how these earlier games, when you had your scenario-based characters, you got to know them a lot better because of the one time that you get the adventure with them, versus later games, like it was standard RPG where you had characters kind of come in and go as you went through. And I miss that approach. I think that is kind of like a big thing that was a staple of the series, because you got a lot more personal knowing like what is this one character's one-off story.
Right. Wild Arms 3 did that really, really well, I thought, with they kind of all like meet up on the train and they're all in that like little shootout.
So cool.
You know, it like really brings them together. Yeah, that was probably my favorite use of that system in the series.
Because it wasn't just kind of like, this is a game, pick the characters. It was like, here's the narrative, pick which one you want to start with. Such a good idea.
Right. Kind of see how they all got to that point.
Started off with a bang, you know.
You brought up
Literally.
villains too, and speaking of like villains that I like, I think Janus Cascade, the villain that they're on the train to get in Wild Arms 3,
Oh, yeah.
I like him a lot. He's a great antagonist, especially with the arc that he goes through and how like we were talking about how interconnected is one of the big themes throughout the series, and like how the spear from Wild Arms 1 that Siegfried has is the spear that he gets in Wild Arms 3 that makes him a demon, and how like cool that is to like see that and then see Siegfried appear later on in the like all those really cool like, oh my god, like if you've played these games in order, you get that, like you get that feel. So Janus was a cool one for me, and then Zed, like I know he's
he had that Ashley style too.
Yeah, he did,
Yeah.
which I think we're all rocking right now with spiky hair anyway. But but Zed was the other one for me. I know he's an anti-hero because in Alter Code F, like, you know, he's joining, but like I love a good comical villain. I don't think that like Liz and Ard landed as well in Wild Arms 2, just because the translation was really bad, so I think that's a part of it. But like Zed is well written and very funny. And again, here you have a boss that has its own track, which I like, kid you not, is one of my favorite tracks in all of gaming as well. Like it is a bop. It is so much fun.
Oh yeah. Plus, we obviously won't spoil it, but he has like a good ending too. You know, like at least in the original, I like that they called him back and brought him back, because like a lot of I don't know, I played some other RPGs, some older RPGs, and sometimes villains would just like disappear with like not much reason, and you wouldn't really find out what happened to them. So it's cool that they brought Zed back through like a side quest later.
Sure. And I was actually, let's talk about, this is how I want to pivot the conversation a little bit too, because we've been doing a lot of great conversations, but somehow we have omitted talking about Alter Code F, and like speaking of Zed. And I don't know where and how you feel about Alter Code F, but the first thing I want to talk about is, was this potentially the first remake of a game? No. Like, you know, based on our standards now of like how we see a true remake, where like they'll take the source,
like a 3D remake.
Yeah, like was this? I don't know if I can think of one that wasn't like a just basically like, this isn't a port. This is like a true remake.
I can.
What was it?
The very first one was probably Dragon Quest 1 and 2 bundled together on the SNES.
Well, but that's still basically a port, though, right?
No,
like they didn't really add anything to the Alter Code F is a completely different game.
They completely rebalanced it, especially Dragon Warrior 2. If you look at the remake of Dragon Warrior 3 on the SNES, they added a brand new job class into there. There was quite a bit of remakes back in the day. They for Game Boy Color, there was also a Dragon Warrior 3 remake there.
But would you say that they're to the same level as Alter Code F?
No.
Right.
No.
I guess
I'm not saying that. I'm just saying that there were some remakes back then. You know, this wasn't the first
there a
one,
Dragon
but there was
Quest
definitely
remake on the...
There was a Dragon Quest V remake on the PS2.
On the PS2, right?
I guess what I'm
PS2.
thinking is like, to the standard of how we might handle a remake today, like if you take a look at Resident Evil 2 remake or Final Fantasy 7 remake, those kinds of like, there's so much extra added to develop the world. I think Alter Code F...
It was like a full-blown, fleshed-out, huge remake. It wasn't the first remake, but maybe this is just me being semantic or whatever. But yeah, I mean, they really did a very good job, because they didn't just because it was announced alongside Wild Arms 4, which used a completely different engine, which I wish that Wild Arms Alter Code F used Wild Arms 4 engine, at least the Hex battle system, but they didn't. They used Wild Arms 3 engine, which bothers me because I don't like Wild Arms 3. So the battles are incredibly slow, just like the battles are in Wild Arms 3, where everybody's run around and all this and it takes forever. And it's just, I don't know, like Wild Arms 3 was just, I didn't like it. So I do like Alter Code F, but I still think that Wild Arms 1 is better than Wild Arms Alter Code F, just because it has, there's some just charm to it. There's this undeniable charm to it. It's quick, it's speedy, it tells a story, it gets in, it gets out. But Wild Arms Alter Code F, it seems to drag maybe it's the battle system. I don't know. It has the encounter cancel. It has this, that, and the other. It has some bells and whistles and all this, but I just think that the first one's just charming. There's just something about it. Maybe it's nostalgia. I don't know.
I do prefer the tighter pacing and art style of the original. I think nostalgia probably plays a bit of a role, kind of like David was saying.
Sure.
But it is kind of just a more tighter paced game overall. I kind of value how long I spend on any one RPGs these days. So if I can like knock out Wild Arms and still get the same narrative experience just in a lot quicker and still feel satisfied and fulfilled, I'll probably opt for the original over the remake.
If you flicking your RPG bean.
Right. Like, I get how the battle system could be like slow, that Wild Arms 3 Alter Code F style. It is a little bit slower in nature, but I don't know. I kind of liked the fact that your characters like moved around. It kind of made battles feel a little bit more immersive, maybe.
Sure.
As opposed to your characters just like standing in a line and like taking their turn like one at a time.
I understand.
Obviously,
what you're
didn't like really
saying,
factor
but, like,
into the system.
To see it every single freaking battle, it's just like, oh my god.
Yeah,
like,
they're definitely not snappy. Like that's true.
Yeah.
No, Wild Arms 3 is a game that I started and restarted like many times back in the day as like a kid. I finally like beat it like later on, but I probably started it over like 10 times, and I would eventually reach a point where I kind of just got burnt out. And some of that may be due to the link dragging, the battle systems, being a little repetitive towards the end. It's a long game. And I also hated how
the longest one.
The counter, the timer in that game, it was like weirdly paced. Like it didn't like count when you were in like a menu or something. So you couldn't really see like your accurate hours, like how many hours you put into that game, which always kind of made me mad.
That's strange.
Actually, I was like, it was the only RPG I knew that like had a different timer based system. It was just kind of weird.
I never really paid attention to that.
So, being like someone who has recently replayed Wild Arms 1, if I had to tell someone, I'm not always like the newest installation of a game is the one that you should play, but when I go back and I play Wild Arms 1, I notice a lot of like the rips and the seams that like you didn't notice when you first played it, because like it was just kind of like similar to everything else going on, and you see a lot of those localization errors or translation errors or like little bugs and stuff like that. Whereas for me, like Alter Code F, pacing aside, I think just the way that they fleshed out the full world and like the consistency in the graphics, the cell shading always holds up. I think cell shading will forever look good. I will be sad if like we never see cell shaded games again, because I think that they truly just is a style that is great. Like my husband just played Wind Waker for the first time ever, and like it still is as gorgeous as it was back then, which also is when Wild Arms 3 came out. I think
we actually might have a video on cell shading coming out eventually. Works a bit,
because it's just such a strong aesthetic, and I think like all of those things are the reason why for me I wonder why they chose to remake Wild Arms 1 as Alter Code F if they truly believe that JRPGs weren't successful. But I'm also very happy that they did, because even like all of the little elements that you get, like the additional characters that you can recruit, I enjoy the battle system of Wild Arms 3, so I think those were some great aspects, but I'm just curious, like why remake this game?
It did seem kind of an odd choice to remake. I remember being a little surprised even when I heard it announced.
Yeah, it was unusual. Because
like,
I always thought that if you're going to choose a Wild Arms game to remake, they should have remade 2. I feel like 2 needs the remake, not 1.
Yeah, 2 definitely is also coming off of both. Yeah.
2 has also a lot of translation issues. Stuff like that could have been fixed up for sure. But yeah, like Wild Arms was like, I mean, it was a somewhat popular game, but like not like incredibly popular that you would think it would get like that full-blown remake treatment, kind of, you know?
Well, I mean, it was really popular on the PS2. JRPGs in general were really popular on the PS2.
Yeah.
There were tons of them.
That is the system.
On PS3.
Yeah.
Yeah, they just, I mean, because I think that once Final Fantasy VII came out, you know, the whole landscape of the JRPG completely changed. You know, I remember when I was a kid on the NES, and there was pretty much 5 of them, and that was it. You know, out of 800 something games, there was 5, which sucked, but it was what it was. And then the Super Nintendo got a little bit better, and then Final Fantasy VII came out, and boom, the floodgates came open, and Final Fantasy X was one of the first games for the PS2, and that kept that momentum going. and JRPGs were all over the place. So if there was 3 other Wild Arm games on the PS2 and they were all selling really well, hey, why not remake the first one? You know?
Yeah. Okay. Well, so good.
Oh no, I was just saying, like, it was kind of interesting. A lot of RPG series that started on the PS1 and ended up getting like 3 entries on the PS2. Like Suikoden had Suikoden 3, 4, and 5, and then Tactics actually for like 4 games.
Shadow
and Wild
Hearts.
Arms obviously got 3, 4, and 5, and then the remake. Yeah, so like the PS2, it seemed like it just continued a lot of what the PS1 started. It seems like RPGs were most popular throughout the PS1 and then early mid PS2 reign. And then I would say, like, kind of towards the end of the PS2 cycle, it seems like the landscape started shifting a little bit away from
Western
JRPGs.
It's because of Western RPGs. They started getting better. And then people were paying attention to them. Because back when I was a kid, oh my god, they were terrible. They were so freaking bad. And then, so I still, to this day, I don't really pay that much attention to them. I don't know, maybe I'm just biased. But they were just god-awful. They were absolutely terrible. So for them to be getting more and more exposure, people were paying more and more attention to them. There was more... internet was creating much bigger presence, so people in Japan could see what people in America were really saying about these various games. And then they thought, oh, people over there, they like the Western RPGs instead. And then we saw that in full force when the PS3 came out and Wild Arms died.
Sadly. So sad. Well, to us, Wild Arms will never be dead. And I feel like we have kind of hinted at this slightly, but I would love to hear, of the titles that you have played, what you think your definitive tier list would be, or sorry, not tier list, but like ranking them. What order?
I actually have a video on this.
Yes, you do, and that is what inspired this question. But why not say it here? And because I know already, you and I are gonna fight.
We're gonna fight.
Yeah.
We're gonna fight. Okay, worst, absolute bottom of the barrel. Wild Arms 3, hated it. Too long, too slow, too boring. The world was so samey. There wasn't even water. Like you're like a sand cruiser. You're on sand on the land, and then you're on the water. Oh, guess what? You're on sand.
Hey! All of the water went to Wind Waker. Okay, all of the water went to Wind Waker.
Then the next one I would say was Wild Arms 2. The translation was just botched. Like there's no one.
Yeah, it is not great. It's
completely botched. It lacks the charm of Wild Arms 1. Just, you know, it's a good game. I'm not saying it's a bad game. Like Wild Arms 3, that's a bad game. But, you know, we are gonna fight.
Just a question for you: if Wild Arms 3 is so bad, why is it in the PlayStation Classics?
I don't know. People have bad taste. Beats me.
It did sell pretty well, I guess, right? Yeah.
Well, riding off the coattails of the good games, so... Oh, God, I'm such a bitch. Then Wild Arms XF. It was just, I don't know. It was a departure. It was different. I loved the characters, especially Edna. She was such a good villain. She was the best villain in the entire series, easily, bar none. Loved her. Top 10. 10/10 villain, 100%. She made the game for me. Then Wild Arms 4. I love the hex battle system. It was short. It was like 20 hours. It was fun. The characters were great. It was short, tight, told its story. You got in, you got out, you had a good time. Wild Arms 1, it's just a classic. It's just a timeless classic.
It's always hard to rank the first one because you don't want to make it seem like you don't appreciate it, because you do. Yeah. But like, it's never going to be like the best, but it's still good. No. Yeah.
It's really, I think it holds up really well to this day. And then finally, Wild Arms 5. I love the class system. I love the characters. I love the open world map. Well, not open, but like, you know, the world map where it's like 3D. It's like a Dragon Quest VIII sort of world map. Yeah. It has the hex battle system. The hex battle system is actually perfected in it. Has some good characters. It's a lot of fun. That's my ranking. There you go.
All right, Corbin, what about you, bud?
So are we including XF in this ranking?
If you haven't played it or you don't know that well, then don't have to. I didn't do it. So.
I have played it, just not as much as the others. So kind of by default, I'll probably place it last, just due to lack of experience with it. But yeah, right off the bat, probably gonna start off very opposite of David. I'd probably place number 5 and the fifth spot for me personally. I do like some aspects about it, but I don't know. I didn't feel as connected to the story and characters as I did in some previous games. It felt a little too like
It's
shonen
kind of
anime tropey
It
to
is
me.
hokey.
Yeah.
Like, let's go after
Mhm.
Johnny Appleseed. We're fighting Elvis. It's like, give me a break.
Yeah, so like I don't mind that tone in some like RPGs and stuff, but I don't know, for Wild Arms I just kind of always preferred a different kind of style or feel to it, and I don't think it kind of just matched that feel for me. So I placed that one in 5th. I placed number 4 in 4. I like the. I mean, I know that's kind of a divisive title with many, and there are some things I'm not crazy about, but I do like the tighter pacing. The platforming sections are fun. I don't dislike the hex system either. I think it's fun. I guess it was different for me to kind of get used to.
Sure. It is
Initially, at
out
least.
there. That was I feel
Um,
like what David said. That's when PS2 RPGs were starting to get a little bit more experimental, so that makes sense.
And then the experimentation
Right,
died
right.
with the PS3, like everything else.
yeah,
Thanks, HD.
yeah.
Thanks so much. Really appreciate you.
Okay, so yeah, that in 4th, and I guess mine's very direct list so far. Number 3, I'd have Wild Arms 3.
I'm
I
sensing a
do
trend
like
here.
Yeah.
it. um, I do like the heavy Western setting, but I do see where David's coming from. It definitely can get a little monotonous,
Mhm.
after you've seen so much like brown and stuff for so long. You're like, all right, some like greens and blues would be like nice here and there. So I can definitely see how that would get old. But since we don't really have another RPG that's so heavy in that Western setting, I kind of give it a pass just because it's so unique, you know? So yeah, 3 and 3, 2 spot, I'd have the first one. It obviously laid the foundation down. Really awesome game. And then 2 would be number 1 for me. It's the first one I played. Nostalgia definitely plays a bit of a factor there. But I don't know. I think I like the characters the most in that game. The story, just the kind of mix of Wild West with some fantasy and some kind of more out there stuff in the second disc. I just thought that was a kind of a unique combination and whatnot. Tackling all the optional bosses was always fun at the end of the game. They had like more than the first Wild Arms did. And yeah, I do like the art style actually. The sprites are pretty charming.
Mm-hmm.
Some of the 3D environments are whatever, but like sometimes the game will switch to these kind of like painted backgrounds or whatever.
Oh, they're
kind of these
beautiful.
drawn
They're
or painted
beautiful.
backgrounds.
Yeah, they're
Yeah.
beautiful.
And those, I really, really like that aspect. Like that is definitely a plus for me over the first Wild Arms, which didn't really have shots like that.
We didn't even talk about the intros and how incredible those are too. Like just how every game.
Oh,
had their
yeah,
own,
those are
like,
godly
little,
intros.
Yeah, it's so good.
I think the first intro of the first game is still
Perfect.
the best
It's
intro.
perfection. It's
The
perfection.
That's an
music,
iconic
True.
intro.
Yeah, it
Yeah.
truly.
Oh, it's great. It's great.
Yeah, that's an iconic intro. Absolutely.
All right, I'll try and keep my ranking pretty concise. I think my last place game was Wild Arms 5. I think it was a little all over the place and tried to do a little too much. And it was very like, do you know what's better than a big gun? An even bigger gun. And I feel like that was kind of like the code for the entire game.
We're gonna climb over this wall.
And I think I feel like it was a little too heavy in the science fiction element too. Like I think it presented itself world map wise as a Western game, but I also don't think it was, because like you had the fantasy swordswoman and like a lot of that kind of like sci-fi-ness to it. Then it'd be Wild Arms 2. Localization kind of killed it for me. And I feel like it suffered from what a lot of late PS1 games did, which was like a rushed development at the end. Also, didn't realize this the first time I played it as a teenager, but the main villain totally like rapes his sister, and that's how the final boss is born. Didn't realize that until I just played it like 2 months ago. So that was very.
I haven't replayed it in a while, so that'll be interesting.
I was there like, wait,
revisit.
what's he do? Oh my god! Like it is very blatant. That is what happens in
Yeah,
it.
wow.
It does not show anything, but like just what they're describing. And willingly.
Back whenever JRPGs used to actually tackle adult themes.
Yeah, it was very that. But
What a
but we talked about it earlier. I think the whole episodic nature of like being an anti-terrorist group is cool. And then at Wild Arms 4, I liked it more when I played it when it came out than more recently. I like the snappiness and I like the characters quite a bit. But it did just kind of feel like a shonen anime of the week, you know, like had that vibe.
Yeah.
I would then have Wild Arms 1. I think Wild Arms 1 is just like, it's hard to touch because it's just a really good game. Like like we said, it's that classic.
It does everything right.
Yeah, but on top of that,
So we all have one in our second spot then.
yeah. Well, to me, I threw Alter Code F in there above that because, like, to me, like, that deserves to be in the ranking, and I think it did do everything that Wild Arms 1 did, just better. But to me, I put the narrative-heavy games up front just because I do enjoy, like, really well-developed characters and, like, that, like, believable tight story. So Alter Code and like 3 for me I think are the best because they are the strongest narratives throughout the series. I can get past the slower combat system because I enjoyed the characters the full way through. I enjoyed the world the full way through, and like I get why not everybody likes that combat system. Like at the end of the day, I think the hex system is better, but I think that I enjoy 3 and Alter Code F more because I think that it took what we already knew and just found those unique things. Like we said, like I tackled this boss by breaking its armor, or you know, like if Jack attacks this boss with his sword arts, then he's like, the boss is gonna counter. I just thought those little like were things that dialed in really well. So 3 is like my favorite. I think it is the classic game for a reason, but again, I get why it's not everyone's. I know a lot of people hate it for its sluggishness, and I'm not going to fight that. It is a sluggish game, but it is truly a gift.
Honestly, if it was just remade and it had a fast forward system, it would be fine. It just needs fast forwarding the battles. That's all it needs.
Yeah, they like I will not argue those battles could have been faster. Yeah. Truly. But I mean, like, I don't think I'm gonna personally. I get why people do it, but I'm not gonna dock a game for like something like that. If the whole package.
To me,
it's
so about like replayability. Like,
sure.
Which if you're gonna look at these 6 games or 7 games, I suppose. Which ones would you actually want to go back and replay?
4. I think 4 would be the only one for me.
Imagine it's just so long and
Well, speaking of playing games, this is where I want to end the conversation on the Wild Arms series. And David, you mentioned it earlier, but we are fortunately blessed with 2 revivals of Dead series coming back, or I guess spiritual successors. And one of those would be Armed Fantasia coming out hopefully next year or like early the year after. Like, it can't be that much longer. Did you guys back these by any chance?
I did.
You did, David?
Yep.
I did not. Unfortunately,
I did. No, you don't suck. It's fine. I mean, like, it's weird because you never know. Like, is this going to be worth backing? But I guess yes, they've released a little bit of what the game is going to look like when they did their little demo videos, just to kind of like show you the ideas. What are things that you would hope to see from Armed Fantasia? Like, let's just assume that this is Wild Arms. What would you want to see from the Wild Arms series continued, or what wouldn't you want to see?
The puzzle system for sure, or not the puzzle, the tool system.
Yeah.
I feel like that's like probably the biggest Wild Arms staple. Like, it would just feel weird to have a Wild Arms games with like no type of tools or puzzles in general. So that would be my biggest want,
yeah, the tool
wish,
system, making sure that it does have some sort of. Well, this is the thing, because it's not Wild Arms. It can't take place on Filgaia. Therefore, it can't use the Guardians. So I guess it can't have that continuity with the other games.
But it could though. You know what I mean? Like, it could be.
It would have to establish its own identity.
Yeah.
However, I did hear that it's supposed to not have a sequel. It's supposed to be a standalone game, but Pennyblood is supposed to have sequels.
Oh,
that's what I heard. Yeah, kind of unfortunate. But I was thinking Hex Battle System. I was hoping that would come back. I really enjoyed that. I thought that was a really good addition. The Crest Magic system as well. I think that would be great to have too. But yeah, puzzles, just classic storytelling, scenario systems.
Yeah.
One thing that I hope that they get rid of, I don't know why they kept it in for as long as they did, is that search system.
No one brought that up
in Wild
until
Arms
now.
3. In Wild Arms 3.
So I don't think it's so bad in Wild Arms 3. I think it's really bad in Wild Arms 2. Because if you don't talk to that one specific, like Wild Arms 3, there's at least a couple characters that are going to hint to you where to find it. But in Wild Arms 2, if you don't go talk to that one specific character, and sometimes with the specific character that is leading your party, you don't get the direction to where to go. And it's like, fuck, like I need to do a guide to play this.
Yeah.
I don't think I realized it back in the day, like how cryptic it can be in that aspect. But yeah, playing it later, I was like, okay, I could see how this could put off some players. This is a little
especially
hard
in Wild Arms
to
5, because Wild Arms 5, that world map is enormous.
Yeah.
And you go around searching, and like, shut up, Dean, shut your mouth, God.
I'll say, kind of speaking of like mechanics, kind of random mechanics in that nature. Do you guys like the sprinting system in Wild Arms? How you like hold down and you sprint, you can't turn or whatever. I feel like that's just something I never really have seen done in any other RPGs, that kind of movement system. I get how it could not be for everyone. It could be a little, I guess, kind of annoying, kind of lacking that complete control unless you're like walking. But it kind of made like traversing through dungeons and towns more fun. You kind of try to time out when exactly you need to like stop and turn and keep like the sprint going. Kind of like a very minor detail, but I was kind of like that aspect.
Again, it's those little things that we've consistently seen throughout the series that just kind of like add to that charm.
Sometimes it's just the little things that matter.
Yeah,
tiny things.
For me, I think that I'm nervous because a part of it seemed like some of the characters fit that Wild Arms 5 like sci-fi fantasy, which like the huge embellished guns and whatnot, which I don't really like. I don't care as much for that. I think that's kind of why I like Wild Arms 3 a little bit more, because it's very westerny and the revolvers and whatnot and all the different
more
weapons.
grounded in that.
Yeah, more grounded in that. So that made me a little bit nervous, but I would love to see them bring back the migrant seals and the encounter blocking again. I think that's just one of those things where it shows that the developers really respect the player's time to not have to fight every fucking battle. And I don't even think it's a case. Someone once said to me, well, if they designed battles with more integrity, you wouldn't even worry about it. I don't think that's the case. You're not like design gods. You can't make every encounter incredible. Not even Baldur's Gate does that. You know what I mean? But
you have like 500 encounters throughout the game, you know, like it's just they're gonna fall in some repetitive nature, you know. And then if you make every battle that crazy whatever, then you're just, you know, wasting so much time on like battles instead of everything else about the game.
So I think, to me, I just want to see that migrant seal. I think that'd be really great.
That'd be great. Yeah. 100%.
And with that, we're going to take a quick break, and we'll be right back. While we are on break, go ahead and tell us your thoughts about the Wild Arms series. We want to hear what you guys think about everything we said and how wrong David is. Also, while we're there, make sure you like, comment, and subscribe. We'll be right back. And we are back for our last segment of the episode, and today we're going to do a little trivia game that I would love to call Bro versus Mo, because we have David and Corbin here, and we are going to tackle some questions about the Wild Arms series. I have planned some questions ahead of time, and then we decided that it'd be more fun if you guys were competitively as opposed to collaboratively. So I'm going to read the question for you guys, and you are going to write down and hold up your answer, and we'll see who has a better grasp of the Wild Arms knowledge. And if you're playing at home, feel free to write these down as well and see if you can figure out what the answers are before I give them away. You got this. I hope, for your sake. You must defeat David. Okay.
What? Everybody's attacking me.
We'll start with a multiple choice question. So just write down the letter or the number that corresponds to the answer here. In which of the following Wild Arms games does the game feature a Crimson Noble as a villain? Is it A, Wild Arms 2, B, Wild Arms 3, C, Wild Arms 4, or D, Wild Arms 5? Y'all thought I was going to say as a playable character.
As a playable character.
Yeah.
As a villain. Oh gosh.
Honestly, yeah.
A villain, not the villain, a villain.
Yeah.
Mhm. What happens if we get it wrong? The other person just gets the point.
No,
Yes?
it'll be
Is that what
no
we-
point. It's either you get a point or no point.
Gosh. I'm gonna guess.
Yeah, best guess. All right,
Say-
go ahead. David had 5 and Corbin had 4. The correct answer
4.
is Wild Arms 4.
Ah.
Is
Okay.
What-
I was
who was it?
guessing between 4 and 5, honestly. So
one of the members of Bryanak is a Crimson Noble, and you fight her, and they make you think like the one guy is the Crimson Noble, but he's just like feeding on her blood, and she's the actual Crimson Noble. So it's like halfway through the game, I think. All right, okay, so Corbin's up 1 point there.
Told you he's gonna crush me.
that was a lucky guess.
Yeah, that was
saying,
just a guess. This one will be a little bit easier. Which Wild Arms 1 side character is named after a real life American sharpshooter? There is no multiple choice for this. Which Wild Arms 1 side character is named after a real life American sharpshooter?
They beat me.
Calamity Jane, both of you had it as the correct answer. Nice. So you both get a point. Good.
Cool.
Yeah, Calamity Jane. That's why. Like, I loved how there was like real history in that as well.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was cool.
All right. We have a Wild Arms 2 question here. Which of the following villains is not a member of Odessa from Wild Arms 2? Is it Balgains, Cana, Antenora, or Judeca? You could put A, B, C, or D. Put your answer down just for a sec, Corbin. Oh, you wrote okay. Corbin, you had what letter? I couldn't see.
A.
And
Also,
David,
yeah.
you had A.
So I just kind of written small for there. Yeah.
Yes, the
A.
answer, you are both right. The answer is A. It's Balgains. Balgains is in Bryanak as well. He's also from Wild Arms 4. The other 3 are people who are in Odessa. I mean, you guys are doing better than you thought you were. This is good.
No shit, man.
Oh yeah.
I thought I got crushed.
Okay, we'll put your thing up at the same time. All right, we'll just keep it that just in case like you accidentally peek up and see the other person's answer. Spelling does not matter. What is the name of the Guardian of Desire? All right, go ahead and hold them up. Both of you had Lucid as your answer. Lucid is the correct answer, so that puts Corbin at 4 points and David at a measly 3 points. That's
I'm feeling very attacked right now.
It's a very close game. Okay, let's switch to one that is slightly harder. Okay, but it's multiple choice question. So just write the letter for this one because the answers are a little bit longer. Wild Arms 1's soundtrack was heavily inspired by several classic spaghetti western tracks by Ennio Morricone. Which real-life western song inspired the overworld music in Wild Arms 1? Was it A Fistful of Dollars, The Ecstasy of Gold, Cheyenne, or For a Few More Dollars? If you need me to repeat those, I can repeat those. This is a tough one.
I've never heard any of these songs before in my entire life. I don't know anything about this. This is going to be a 1, 2, 3, 4 guess.
So, right, yeah.
I feel like someone commented this on our Wild Arms video. I remember like reading like, oh, the Overworld song is like similar from. Drawing a blank.
I'll challenge you guys when you guys are done with the episode. Look up Ennio Morricone and listen to his music, and you will basically hear the entire soundtrack of Wild Arms 1 because they were that heavily inspired by it.
I'm doing a
Great, so it's
shot in the dark here.
So A Fistful of Dollars, B The Ecstasy of Gold, C Cheyenne, or D For a Few More Dollars. What do we have? Put them up.
I've actually heard of A, so I'm going to go with A.
David,
said 3
you said
Cheyenne.
A, and David, you said C or 3 Cheyenne. So
3.
The answer was The Ecstasy of Gold is the overworld
Okay.
music. A Fistful of Dollars is the intro cutscene from Wild Arms 1. is like, again, you heavily inspired. If you listen to it, you can hear it. Cheyenne is the demons music when the demons attack, is straight from that soundtrack. And then for a few more dollars is the village of the L. The L people, like their village.
L. I never knew how to
L, yeah. I just figure you don't say the W. I don't know. It's tough.
I never tried.
I was just thinking Cheyenne, Wyoming, Western.
I mean, I see your logic. That was a tough one. I geared that one to Corbin a little bit more because I figured being the resident straight, you might do Western movies. I don't know. You never know.
Yeah, I get that.
Okay, next question. This one will be a lot easier. What is the name of the Earth Golem? This is not a multiple choice question. What is the name of the Earth Golem?
I think he has different spellings on the entry.
Whatever's close, you're good.
Do a variation of the spelling.
Go ahead and put it up.
Wait, sorry, you say Earth Golem or Earth Guardian?
Golem.
Okay. I heard Guardian. Shoot.
Okay, well,
he can't change it because what's done is done.
How about this?
Right.
If you have the Earth Guardian, if you put the name, then I'll give you the point for it because
I put the Earth Guardian, Grudev or whatever his name is.
Which is correct. That is correct. If it comes to the point where
my bad, I didn't hear the.
Okay, well we'll see you guys are tied. I think I guess that is the fairest way. So yeah, David, you got your point. But you are correct. Grudev is the answer. But Asgard,
that wasn't the question.
Correct. Asgard is the Earth Golem.
Be an asterisk next to that point, I
guess. No asterisk necessary. You read the questions on the test properly. Otherwise,
you should fight. I feel like you two fighting would be a pretty equal fight, right?
Yeah, like similar builds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right. In which game does the term arms not even closely refer to the actual gun or weapon? Is it Wild Arms 2, Wild Arms 3, Wild Arms 4, or Wild Arms 5?
I think I know this.
Like, it literally has nothing to do with the guns or weapons.
Okay. I think...
All right.
I forget what it is in the later entry, so I'm gonna...
You both have an answer? All right, go ahead and put them up. All right. David says Wild Arms 2. Corbin says Wild Arms 2. You are both correct. It's the name of the counter-terrorist group that the characters belong to.
Armed Resistant Force?
Oh, fuck. I forgot to write it down.
No. It's like Agile Remote Mission Squad.
Yeah, it's something.
This is what I'm talking about. This was a childhood game for him. He knows everything. This was not a childhood
Wild Arms
game
2, I do know a lot about. Yeah,
something to that nature. Yeah, it's very close. In the other games, like I know it doesn't exactly like in Wild Arms 1, it's Ancient Relic Machine. But I mean, like the rest of them, it's pretty close to like what the gun is referred to. So, okay, I think we only have 2 questions left. Which of the following tools does Ashley not use in Wild Arms 2?
God almighty.
A, the radar/booty call. B, the hurl knife. C, the flare gun. Or D, the wire hook.
Oh!
Which of the following tools does Ashley not use in Wild Arms 2? The radar, the hurl knife, the flare gun, or the wire hook? You guys both have answers?
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
All right, put them up. The answer, both of you put D. The answer is D, is the wire. Do you guys know who uses that?
Cannon! That bonus points, cannon!
Yeah, it's cannon. It's cannon. Yeah.
Bonus points.
All right, so you guys are tied at 7 points now. Is that right?
Oh, we're tied, whatever. Yeah.
Okay.
I think so. Yeah.
I don't know.
I only have 1 question left, so I might have to try and come up with something on the spot and go into overtime if you guys both get this. But this question might be tough enough to split you two, so we'll see. Including temporary characters, how many characters can join your party beyond the original 3 in Wild Arms Alter Code F? So not counting Jack, Rudy, or Cecilia. How many other characters can join your party, including temporary characters.
Okay, I
Oh,
think I know.
shit.
Including,
I
so think about it.
I don't need to think. I think I know.
I'm split between two. Okay. All right.
Okay. Go ahead and put your answers up.
I think I'm wrong.
Corbin has 3 and David has 5. The answer is 5. There are 5 characters,
Okay.
including temporary characters. If it was just characters that permanently join, it would have been 3. David, can you name all 5 of those characters?
I cannot, but I would anyway. I don't care.
Oh, I lost you. I can't hear you.
Yeah, I was like, I think your mic's got messed up or something.
Mine did?
Yeah. Okay, I can hear you now.
Oh wait, no, it's fine.
Yeah, it's fine
Yeah,
now.
yeah,
Okay.
your last one.
I probably just was talking too much. Now.
It just muted you from screaming for winning.
I guess so. My Audacity was like completely blue.
so that's probably why.
I was cleaning out. Yeah.
Can you name them?
No, not all 5. I know it's Zed.
Zed is
Emma
one.
Joins you.
Emma's joins you. Yeah.
There's like a butler person who joins you.
Yeah, that's Magdalene,
Oh, yeah.
the butler.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dude.
Um,
Yeah. I forgot you could play with them.
Doesn't like Boomerang join for like a hot second or
Nah,
something?
it's not
No, Calamity Jane. Calamity Jane.
Calamity Jane. Yep. And there's one more. This character is also in the original game too, and is a focal point of one of the characters' arcs.
Oh gosh, Lady Harkin?
No.
That wouldn't be right. Do you know Corbin?
Is it that L girl?
It is.
That
You remember her
Oh, what is her name?
Mariel.
Yeah.
Mariel.
Yeah, yeah. She
Yeah.
that's the one I always forget. I forget that she very briefly joins you in that small section there too. Well, that was David, you won. You took the trophy there. You got the
That's
W.
all.
So
And the host was against me. It was against me.
Everyone
I was
against
thinking out
David.
on top. Yes.
I mean that
Touche.
that was good. I mean like
The Alter Code F I haven't played in a long time, so that was a little more rusty.
Yeah, I was
My noggin.
just kind of like Wild Arms 3. Like I played it whenever it came out, and
we need to do trivia questions more often because even though it was a bitch planning those, it was fun. Like that was
It was
good.
fun.
Yeah.
It was fun.
Yeah.
Well, that's our episode, guys.
Yeah.
This is where it ends.
Cool.
First of all, I want to thank you both for being here. It's great having both of you guys on here. And I know you said you had not worked together on a project like this before and like seen each other, right? Like, so it's cool.
No, it's the first time we've actually
Yeah.
seen each other in real life.
David, what do you have coming on the pipeline for you in the future? What kind of things do we have to look forward to?
A lot of reviews coming up of all these games that are coming out later on, more top 10 lists, more news. I do my news videos every single Saturday. People seem to really enjoy those.
Oh, yeah.
Even whenever I'm going over various leaks and stuff that might not be the most substantial or corroborated, but sometimes it's just fun to discuss little leaks. It's just fun. Why can't we have fun on YouTube? Why does everything have to be so super
Yeah,
serious?
isn't it sad how bitter people get when a
Right.
leak doesn't
Oh my
pan out?
god. It's like, it's not the end of the world, people. My god, let's just have some fun.
If that was the case, the whole Fire Emblem fandom would be canceled because, like, everyone's been predicting Path of Radiance being remade here, or Fire Emblems 4 and 5, and we still haven't heard anything yet. And people said it was supposed to be 2 years ago. Like, it's okay. It's okay that it didn't pan out because the game still exists. It still happened.
I almost feel like sometimes people are like, gaming is so super serious business, and I'm like, no, it's not.
No.
It's a game. It's fun. Just have fun with it, people.
No.
Just have fun. Gosh.
Mm-hmm.
And Corbin,
Agreed.
what chill vibe videos do you guys have coming up for us over at Gaming Broductions?
So yeah, we have our usual kind of list and retrospectives we're working on. More unique topics we're kind of planning on is one of our recent videos we did was about the magical world of PS1 pre-rendered background.
Great
That ended up
video.
being kind of one of our most. Yeah, thank you. That ended up being one of our most watched successful videos ever. So I kind of want to delve more into stuff of that nature. Might make a video about PS1 FMVs, stuff like that, and then we talked about doing like a video about early cell shaded video games. Kind of just some more obscure topics about like, you know, some visual styles and kind of stuff like that's not talked about that often, but could make for an interesting topic, I think.
I would love to. We plan on talking about cell shaded games at some point on the podcast, so I'd love to have you back for that as well. Just because, I mean, one of my favorite gaming art styles is cell shaded. I think a lot of great games have that, so it'd be fun to have you both back again. Yeah. All right. Well.
Cool. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. Well, thank you guys.
Yeah, I'm good. Thanks for having me on.
Yeah. No problem. Thank you. We'd love to hear your thoughts, so make sure you like, subscribe, and comment. If you want to be a part of the community, head on over to our Discord at RPGaymer. We have a great community and have discussions going on every day. If you enjoyed listening to us today, be on the lookout for our next podcast episode, Cozy Games, coming up in 2 weeks. We appreciate you all for listening and hope you had a great time. Now go out there and get gaming.